I work out and I'll check my pump. Oh yeah. Fucking cramp, bro. Fuck, man. Fucking cramp, bro.
Wait, first of all, do you have any kids?
No, I don't.
Oh. I do.
Oh, you do?
I have a son, his name's Oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do baby daddies.
Wait, you don't do baby daddies?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Hold on real quick. Can I get the mic?
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, because one thing I'm never going to allow is for you to disrespect my son. You got to go. Wait, first of all, do you have any kids?
No, I don't.
Oh. I do.
Oh, you do?
I have a son, his name's Oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do baby daddies.
Wait, you don't do baby daddies?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Hold on real quick. Can I get the mic?
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, because one thing I'm never going to allow is for you to disrespect my son. You got to go. Wait, first of all, do you have any kids?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I had to read my session.
I don't even know which sex is for. It's for. And she got it. So find your way to the place where angels stay.
You can literally never lose if you bribe somebody.
How much you pay to be here? Shit, that broke. $300. I'll give you $600, and you gotta like just make it like my food is way better.
There's a Maillard reaction which actually creates that orange crust. Cheese and butter just soak up all the fat. It's like as if he was playing the violin while cooking.
Your kids are gonna be so disappointed.
Way too much salt in the ground beef. This is just way better.
Thank you, chef.
You can literally never lose if you bribe somebody.
How much you pay?
When a protein bar spills in your outfit, you change your outfit.
I know I was gonna have a slow first round. I know I was gonna have a slow first round, and then when it started turning around, I saw the beginning and the end, and I started telling them like, "Who you ate that?" And it's gonna get worse from here, huh? And then when the next round started, it came quicker than I thought. And when I started landing shots, I was like, "This is a wrap." And I had him on the cage, and I was like, "You don't have to say now, do you?" And then I put a knee in his stomach, and I heard him go, "Huh," and I'm like, "Yeah, this is good." And then all of a sudden, he's shooting for a takedown, and I'm like, "Oh, you're a wrestler now." I remember I'm the black belt in jiu-jitsu, and you're shooting on me now.
I got hops. Wait, first I don't put and I'm strapped, bitch.
Ask you what you need.
Excuse me. You guys live in Sayulita? If I give you this camera, can you take photos? We'll get it back and make a cool video with it.
I mean, actually, this guy is a pro surfer. He's a local guy here.
Yeah, is that cool?
Me gustan los aviones, me gustas tú. Me gusta viajar, me gustas tú. Me gusta la mañana, me gustas tú. Me gusta.
Excuse me. You guys live in Sayulita?
Do your health a favor.
Yeah, shit, is that fucking tiny? Is that tiny? Oh my god. Damn.
Yep. Hey man, you ain't got no serve.
Your lazy glutes are breaking your back. Your glutes are the powerhouse of your hips. They are designed to extend and stabilize the pelvis so your spine doesn't have to. But when they are weak, your pelvis tips forward into an anterior pelvic tilt. That creates an extra arch in the lower back, compressing the L4, L5, and S1 discs. And this compensation leads to herniation in a lot of people. Without strong glutes, your erectors and spine become the prime.
This might be the only delivery service that actually feels chef made, because it is. This is Cook Unity, and if you're someone
In
my Maybelline shit like a smoothie. Pop out, niggas in the crib when the shots out. Niggas be telling when the cops out. Say you got guns when the Glocks out. I break bread so my niggas can eat. Niggas get when you not in the streets.
Big Shine got a secret for y'all small businesses.
What is the secret?
I'm the king of.
Now you know we got a.
Big Shine got a secret for y'all small businesses.
What is the secret?
I'm the king of small business funding. So the king wants to know, you looking.
Now you know we got to dance, bro.
Oh, I feel like everyone sells candy in Miami now, you know? Gotta think it's something new. Sell something other than candy. If you had something different than candy, I'd be like, you know what, this kid's creative. I'll buy something from him. Like, look, all these kids have candy right here. It's like, what makes you different from all these kids right here? Say I already bought candy from him. Why would I buy candy from you? What's your cause? I feel like everyone's selling.
Warning, 191 XT doesn't just build muscle, it turns you into a freak. At first, it's a tingling under your skin, your body struggling to contain the growth. Then, the monster inside takes over. Veins bulging, muscles swelling, strength surging beyond control. That's the power of 191 XT, the world's most powerful.
Kaboom. Rest in peace, my granny, she got hit by a bazooka. Blow. Kaboom.
Do you really have a back bling on?
Yeah, back bling. And I'm gonna do the Naruto run.
Okay, I guess we have Naruto. Do you really have a back bling on?
Yeah, back bling. And I'm gonna do the Naruto run.
Okay, I guess we have Naruto.
If you use minoxidil.
Woke up this morning, saw one of my videos, got 500 views. I was
At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday. Negotiations breaking down. See those leaders start to frown. It's sword and gun
Whoa. 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 Yeah. Whoa. What you call an icon living? Start a record label, Misfits just did it. Whoa. Nylon cover 5 minutes. Whoa. We up too hot in the.
I don't even know what she said, cause it's form. It's form. And she got endurance. Like the way she form.
Watch out.
This is my boyfriend.
Hey, listen. What are you doing here?
I'm trying to get on the bus. I don't have enough points.
Well, like, why are you inside there? That's a college bar.
I'm trying to get on the bus. I'm asking for money.
You're asking for money? Well, why are you inside the bar?
I'm trying to get some money to get on the bus.
Well, nobody in there wants to talk to you. You're being weird for people.
You don't have 25 cents?
I mean, 25 cents?
You have $1. I'll give it to you.
I mean, I don't know if there's anyone. Do you have Alice, do you have $1? Watch out.
This is my boyfriend.
This is why you should always be careful when dealing with someone's family. During a sparring session, this coach was teaching one of his students. The student's little brother saw it and thought his sibling was under attack, and without a single pause, he launched himself in to try and save his brother. But what happened next, nobody expected. This is why you should always be careful when
woke up this morning, saw one of my videos, got 500 views.
If you're making less than 200.
He's pretty smart, and he explains it in a way for a fucking retard to understand it, you know? So he conveys the message very well. So let's go ahead and listen to Myron.
Important to know where he is politically when it comes to the support of Israel. So of course he's going to try to, drum up this argument that they're a terror regime and they do XYZ and all this other crap. But we're not innocent in this either. We were absolutely the aggressors in Operation Rising Lion. We're the aggressors when we attacked Tehran literally 2 days ago. And he's trying to spin it as, they had this nuclear program that they were building. Which one is it, Pete? Did we destroy their nuclear program like you claim with Operation Midnight Hammer, right? And it wasn't a threat anymore because that's what Trump said. He said that we pushed it back years after the press conference. Or was this just another excuse to attack them again? Because what you really fear is the ballistic missile program, which is what it really is. And that's what Israel's really feared about. Because let me tell you something about the ballistic missile program. Those ballistic missiles cannot reach the United States. They do not have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They don't.
I said the same thing. I was like, yo, listen, we have a bunch of silos in the United States that we could deploy nuclear weapons and nuclear warheads, and those have the capabilities of going 15,000 kilometers. If you actually map that, that's about 9,000 miles. That could pretty much hit every country we would probably need to hit, right? Like, from New York to California is 3,000. So just think about 3 times that. When we talk about ballistic missiles, they're kind of in the 4,000, 5,000 kilometer range, and that alone makes those missiles not really a threat to us. But if you look at the map, it's definitely a threat to Israel, which is again, I guess we're probably just the best allies and the best friends. We gotta make sure nothing happens over there. But
can you see my screen right now or no? I got Hexeth up on my side. They can see it on my side. Do I got to click? Do I click change stream?
Yes. So in Discord, you have to share screen.
Oh, okay. So, maybe do I click change stream? Can you see that now? Or no? I have it up on my side. Because I can see it on my side. Why can you not see it on your side, dude? I'm literally sharing it. Like, if you look at my screen on Kick, I have it. I don't know why you're not able to see it.
Hold on. That might be me, though. Hold on. Give me one
Yeah, you
second.
might have a setting here that might. Because I literally have it up on my side, so I'm trying to.
Give me 1 second. It
Yeah.
says you're sharing your screen, which is kind of like the odd
Yeah.
part. Hold on.
Yeah, so I can see me and you together. Pause.
I'm starting to think it's me. It might be me because I'm seeing that you're live.
Because I was able to share my screen with you before. It's kind of weird how I'm not able to share it now. Or why it's not showing up on your screen now. Because can you hear this at least?
Car bombs in
Okay,
Beirut.
wait.
Rock-
Here we go.
Perfect. All right, nice. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'll run it from my side. What time stamp were you on? Just so-
I was on
3-4 minutes.
4:38.
4:38. Okay, let me go right to that. And you're watching the News Nation version, right?
I don't know if I was. Yeah, I was.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right, just so we don't miss a beat here. Okay.
Puts America and Americans
How's that audio? Is that good?
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, I'll run it.
first. He doesn't hesitate, and neither do our troops. The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused. Destroy Iran.
Someone was making a joke. It's called Operation Epstein Fury because that nigga's trying to conceal what's going on with Epstein, bro.
Iranian offensive
Because
missile.
the Epstein files got buried in this news cycle, by the way.
Destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons. We're hitting them surgically, overwhelmingly, and unapologetically.
Now, let me be clear about this. He's saying, so this is what they have to do. They have to sell to the American public that they're trying to get nuclear weapons to justify the war. But the reality is their nuclear program isn't it isn't as advanced as they claim it is, and they try to make peace with it through the JCPOA or whatever, because they know that if they say, well, we got to get rid of the proxies and we got to get rid of their ballistic missile program, well, everybody knows that their ballistic missile program can't reach America, and they know that the proxies don't really serve a danger to Americans domestically. So the only political card they have to play is the nuclear program. But you would know that, number one, Operation Midnight Hammer did significantly push back their nuclear program, and they have somewhere around 200 kilos or so, 400 kilos of highly enriched uranium at the 60 percentile. But they enrich that uranium for strategic purposes to trade that away for sanction relief. That is why they were willing to negotiate with the United States in the first place, only for nuclear. But the American public is never going to take the ballistic missile program bullshit or the proxies. They have to use the nuclear weapon angle to justify it to the American public. That's why he's harping on this.
And by the way, they have done that because, again, if anyone kind of understands how nukes work, and I did a whole explanation on it, is like, so to have weapons, you need to be at the 90th percentile when it comes to enrichment. They're at 60 percentile, and the way to sell it is that it's like basically saying, hey, we only will tax Myron if he has $1 million. So Myron makes sure he only makes 900,000. And their way to sell it is this guy, he's kind of like still breaking the rules because enriching to 60% is actually a couple of months out of enriching to 90%. So really, you know, the agreements of, hey, you have to have below this, the agreements mean nothing because really we just don't want you to have it at all. But really, it's not about us not wanting you to have it at all. It's really that we want to do what we want to do now.
And it's also
Right?
important
So it's
to also say, so Steve Witkoff, when he was negotiating with the Iranians, he would constantly move the goalpost. First it was, you guys can enrich, but it has to be civilian. Cool, we'll do that. And we'll allow the IAEA to be involved, everything else like that. The IAEA, the inspection agency that would oversee the shit, they were in Iran up until June. When the Israelis attacked the Iranians kicked the IAEA out. So like we lost all our oversight of their nuclear program because of that, even though they were still adhering to it to some degree, even though the United States had pulled out. So, you know, they're using this nuclear angle to justify the war. And they've been doing this for a very long time. Netanyahu's been talking about the Iranians having a nuclear bomb for 30 years, dude. I have a clip, like I could literally pull up a clip here that shows Netanyahu talking about the nuclear bomb since 1993. So they've always used this excuse to justify the war. But I'll keep playing the clip. Here.
With every passing day, our capabilities get stronger and Iran's get weaker. We set the terms of this war from start to finish. Our ambitions are not utopian. They are realistic, scoped to our interests and the defense of our people.
They are not realistic because you are trying to get a regime change war with the people rising up and overthrowing the government, and that has not happened.
And our allies. Speaking of people, we hope the Iranian people take advantage of this incredible opportunity. President Trump has been clear, now is your time. To Iranian security forces, choose wisely.
Myron, doesn't that come off
President
like
Trump
so
has also been clear about your...
Was that? Go ahead.
Doesn't that come off so pathetic? It feels like we're begging the Iranian people to go take their hey, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We'll never come help you guys out again. Go take, hey, we've cleared the way. You got, why didn't we wait until there was a strong opposition that we could be like, hey, this is going to be the leader, right? This is the opposition, because that's what usually works.
Good,
you need
good. Even the fucking retard understands. So
kind of quietly help fund them, and then at some point you help topple the current leadership or administration, and then the people or the person who is the most likely opposition or alternative, they seize power. But it feels like nobody wants to seize power.
Yeah,
so now, if no one wants to seize power, if anything, you've just martyrized this guy, and now you're gonna then create something where everyone who then takes power needs to be operating out of a place of strength if they want to keep power, which is going to solidify what he did. So there is no opposition. Where is the opposition? And that's the question I have.
There's none. I mean, the closest is this fucking guy, Pahlavi, his son, Reza Pahlavi, this guy, but they hate him in Iran. You know what I mean? They don't. If this guy went back, he'd be cooked in days, bro. They look at him as a traitor. They look at him as a Zionist. They look at him as a guy that's not Iran first. He's a Western puppet. So he was the one that said that, hey, I would go back and do a transition. Oh, and by the way, he's been on YouTube pleading with the Iranian people to rise up and take over. He tried it in January. He tried it back in June with Operation Rising Lion, and he's trying it now. Nobody gives a fuck is listening to this guy, bro. Like, they don't, like I said, they're always going to side with the current government over this guy because they look at him as a traitor. So they have him. And then we also have, like, I know that there was like a group of like a panel of Balochs and Kurdistanis and stuff like that said that they would go ahead. There's different sectarian groups in Iran that they said they would take over. But dude, none of these people are going to be able to take over, because the problem is this: when you have a theocracy, a religious theocracy, where the people aren't just bonded politically, but they're also bonded religiously, that is very difficult to overcome, dude. That is very difficult to overcome. And that's why the people are not taking to the streets and rebelling how Pete Hegseth and them want. They're not doing it. And they're trying to save face now, and he had the nerve to say, oh, we did not start this war, which is fucking comical. they did start this war for bullshit reasons, and you're trying to sell it to the American public as a war to stop nuclear ambitions when we already had the ability to stop the nuclear ambitions years ago, and we had oversight of their program. And us attacking them and pulling out the nuclear deal is what made it, what ramped up their nuclear enrichment in the first place. Like, all of this is self-imposed, man, unfortunately, from us. But they're trying to sell it to the American public because they expect you to be stupid.
Or fate in either direction. To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars, stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless. I was there for both.
It's worse than Iraq because we're dealing with a far more capable military that we cannot win on the ground. That's why we're terrified to invade. We know we can't win. They have unforgiving mountainous terrain, and the country's structured in a way where literally trying to take any of the major cities would be a nightmare. So it is Iraq, but way worse. And it's a way more capable military, and bases in the Gulf are getting absolutely fucking pummeled by their missiles. And here's the crazy part. The Iranians build their own missiles, just like he admitted. Not only do they build their own missiles, they build their own drones. They have stockpiles of this stuff, thousands of them, thousands. We don't have enough interceptors to save all of our bases in the Middle East. Saudis are already complaining, saying that we are prioritizing supporting Israel over the Gulf states. Well, yeah. And even then, we won't be able to last long with shooting down these missiles and drones. And a lot of them are getting through, bro. I can show you some of the shit on Twitter. It's nuts.
Our generation knows better, and so does this president. He called the last 20 years of nation-building wars dumb, and he's right. This is the opposite. This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes. Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history. B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our terms, with maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. As the president warned,
as 4 people just died over this weekend.
An effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell, and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4.
And Trump campaigned on no new wars, and he started a new war.
Americans we have lost thus far, and those injured. The absolute best of America. May we prosecute the remainder of this operation in a manner that honors them. No apologies, no hesitation, epic fury for them and the thousands of Americans before them, taken too soon by Iranian radicals. Before I turn it over to General Kane for the operational update, let me speak straight to you, Joint Force, our warriors on the front lines. This is your moment.
This is
the generational turning point America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless wars of hubris my generation, our generation, endured. Don't listen to the noise. Just stay focused. Our commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. We face a determined enemy, but you are better.
This is
we must prove it every single day. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, or if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway.
Big, yeah, right.
Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, unity of
peace through strength is a common neocon phrase.
So they got Hegseth to come do the dirty work and go up there and cover. So that's what he's doing.
Signs of a neocon foreign policy, aka the Jews run it.
Purpose. Those are not slogans. They're the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform, that uniform. You think clearly under fire, you act decisively in chaos, you uphold the Constitution, and you uphold our country without hesitation. We are not defenders anymore. We are warriors, trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable. We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's, as it should be.
And like I said before, if you ask someone, how is this war America first, they will not be able to articulate it to you.
And know this above all, President Trump and I have your back, always.
Yeah, right.
Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because you are the best, most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world.
No, you unleash them because they go and do your dirty work, bro.
Watch over you, and his providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going. General Kane, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone. The purpose of my portion of the briefing today is to update you and the American people on the actions taken thus far. The briefing will discuss the preparation, the planning, setting the force, the early operations, and how we're assessing the progress thus far. So let's get started. On Saturday, 28 February at 01:15 Eastern Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. local Tehran time, on the orders of the President of the United States, U.S. United States Navy Admiral Brad Cooper commenced Operation Epic Fury. As I said, I'm going to walk you through the initial phases of the operation.
Yeah, epic fumble.
But first, I want to express my deep condolences and the condolences of the Joint Force to the Department of War personnel killed and wounded in actions thus far. As the Secretary said, they're heroes and represent the best of our nation has to offer. They're true examples of what selfless service means. Our deepest and heartfelt condolences are with their families, their friends, and their units. We grieve with you and we will never forget you.
And they shouldn't be dead.
Additionally, I stand here before you today grateful for each service member, planner, logistician, operator across our joint force, for our Department of War civilians, our intelligence community teammates, our interagency teammates who continue to stand in harm's way alongside us. I am proud of all of you as you take the fight to the enemy, and we are the best in the world at integrating, period. I want to extend my personal gratitude to the dedicated commanders and senior enlisted leaders and the enlisted members of the Joint Force who are fighting this fight across the CENTCOM AOR. In addition to Admiral Cooper and Fleet Master Chief Compton, I want to highlight a few today. U.S. Army Central Command Commander Lieutenant General Pat Frank, who along with his team are fighting the counter missile and counter drone fight. United States Navy Central Command Commander Vice Admiral Kurt Renshaw and his team, who are engaged with the Iranian Navy and projecting American naval combat power from the seas. And United States Air Force Central Command Commander Lieutenant General Derek France and his leadership team, who are crushing Iranian targets from the air. I want to highlight the support to the CENTCOM fight from other combatant commands who are directly involved with this effort, to include U.S. Spacecom, U.S. Cybercom, and U.S. UCOM. I also want to specifically call out United States Transportation Command and U.S. STRATCOM for their contributions to this fight. We cannot project American combat power at the time and place of our choosing without both. And finally, I want to express how deeply thankful I am for the continued service and sacrifice of the entire Joint Force and their families. Their unwavering commitment and dedication are the cornerstones of this effort. Joint Force delivered synchronized and layered effects designed to disrupt, degrade, deny, and destroy Iran's ability to conduct and sustain combat operations. On the U.S. side, this marked the culmination of months and in some cases years of deliberate planning and refinement against this particular target set. From precision strikes against key military infrastructure to persistent intelligence and targeting integration to the close coordination of the components across vast distances, this operation again demonstrated America's reach, readiness, and professionalism, and that of our joint united force. It was historic not only in the operational scope, but in the level of joint integration displayed across every element of the joint force. And as I said earlier, this work is just beginning and will continue. So now to talk a little bit about setting the force and setting the theater. On the order of the Secretary of War over the last 30 days to reinforce deterrence and provide the president with credible options should action be required, the Joint Force began to systematically reposition assets and personnel across the region. These movements ensured that U.S. forces remained postured, protected, and ready to respond decisively for any emerging threat. This deployment included thousands of service members from all branches, hundreds of advanced fourth and fifth generation fighters, dozens of refueling tankers, the Lincoln and Ford Carrier Strike Group and their embarked air wings, sustained flow of munitions, fuel, supplies, all supported with command and control, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance network. And the
spending billions of dollars to do this, by the way, that's an enormous amount of logistical cost.
The flow of forces continues today. In fact, Admiral Cooper will receive additional forces even today. This rapid buildup of forces demonstrated the Joint Forces' ability to adapt and project power at the time and place of our nation's choosing. I want to highlight a couple specific cases for you.
It seems like the same old bullshit to me, bro. Just like George Bush. It's the same old shit, these neocon fucks.
ago. They've been out deployed, I think, for like 8 months at that point. They should have been back and ended that deployment. Now they have a bunch of soldiers on there that are pissed off. The toilets are broken. They're writing to news agencies saying that they want to resign. Morale is low. Let's see what he says, though. Let's see what he tells the news, though.
The ship, her crew, their families, and the entire strike group took a deep breath, and as they always do, began planning to conduct combat operations. The integrated reserve and National Guard forces have continued to demonstrate the value of America's reserve forces, including the Wisconsin Army National Guard operating in Kuwait and Iraq, and Air National Guard units from a variety of states to include Vermont and Virginia. In the case of the Vermont Air National Guard and the 158th Fighter Wing, they were mobilized for Operation Absolute Resolve, and then were tasked to take their F-35As across the Atlantic instead of going home to be prepared to support this operation. The same is with our Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve Command tanker and mobility forces, who stepped right out of their civilian jobs to deploy and to protect the region. Lastly, I want to highlight the unsung heroes of warfare, our American logisticians and sustainment force, those who quietly work every day behind the scenes to project and sustain America's combat power. Our leaders from World War II were right when they said professionals do logistics. As regional tensions rose, the Joint Force elevated our force protection measures on the order of the Secretary and repositioned discreetly civilians and non-essential personnel designed to ensure the safety and security of our Joint Force. By the time operations began, only essential forces remained on our bases and in theater, all ready, capable to respond. So now let me move to H hour. At 3:38 p.m., on Friday, February 27th, the United States Central Command, through the Secretary of War, received the final go order from President Trump. The president directed, and I quote, "Operation Epic Fury is approved. No aborts. Good luck," close quote. In the region, every element of the Joint Force made their final preparation.
Oh, go ahead.
Air defense batteries readied themselves, checking their systems to respond to Iranian attacks. Pilots and crews rehearsed their strike packages for the final time. Air crews began loading their final weapons, and 2 carrier strike groups began to move towards their launching points. Across the globe, our operation centers came alive in Tampa, Florida, here at the Pentagon, and of course forward in the Central Command AOR. As always, operational security was paramount as we sought to maintain and sustain the element of surprise. This operation was highly classified so that at H hour, the enemy would see one thing: speed, surprise, and violence of action. The first movers were U.S. Cybercom and U.S. Spacecom, layering non-kinetic effects, disrupting and degrading and blinding Iran's ability to see, communicate.
Translation jammers. They jam the internet and other, communication devices.
And respond. At H hour, the beginning of major combat operations, 01:15 local Eastern Daylight Time, 9:45 local AM Tehran time, as dawn crept up across the Central Command AOR, the skies surged to life. More than 100 aircraft launched from land, sea, fighters, tankers, airborne early warning, electronic attack, bombers from the states, and unmanned platforms, forming a single synchronized wave. This was a daylight strike based on a trigger event conducted by the Israeli Defense Forces, enabled by the U.S. intelligence community. The first shooters
Basically, the meeting that happened is what triggered this.
at sea were Tomahawks unleashed by the United States Navy, closed in on Iranian naval forces, and began to conduct strikes across the southern flank in Iran. On the ground, forces fired precision standoff weapons, measured, deliberate, precise, and lethal. This was a massive, overwhelming attack across all domains of warfare, striking more than 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours. We are now roughly 57 hours into the operation. In the initial phase, CENTCOM's focus was systematic targeting of Iranians' command and control infrastructure, naval forces, ballistic missile sites, and intelligence infrastructure designed to daze and confuse them. Coordinated space and cyber operations effectively disrupted communications and sensor networks across the area of responsibility, leaving the adversary without the ability to see, coordinate, or respond effectively. The combined impact of these strikes, swift, precise, and overwhelming, has resulted in the establishment of local air superiority. This air superiority will not only enhance the protection of our forces, but also allow them to continue the work over Iran. Over the course of the last 2 days, the Joint Force has launched.
Now, I'm going to research this a little bit. I don't know if we have air superiority the way he's trying to say. And I say this because and I've noticed that American media doesn't report this, but from many credible sources, after the after the 12-day war, the Iranians procured some very significant and capable Chinese radar systems, and the radar systems that they got basically counter American stealth. They counter the F-22, the F-35, the B-2 bomber, etc. So I'm going to double check this air superiority thing because they have not been able to be as aggressive as they were in the first war, and they don't want to obviously admit or why. But I'm going to do some more research on that. But I do want your audience to know, for everyone here, that the Iranians do have in hand some very sophisticated Chinese technology. Excuse me. And surface air missiles.
Is the Chinese is the Chinese support them like how we support people who, you know, or they're just looking towards those vets?
This fool don't even know how to ask a question, dog.
Them and brought it in and helped them buy it because the biggest weakness that the Iranians had after the 12-day war was air defense, and the Israelis were able to establish air defense early on with the Mossad operatives destroying their air defense and blinding them. So one of the first things they did after the war was they went to China and procured a bunch of these radars. I can actually give you the I'll show you right now. I'll keep playing this and I'll pull it up for you in a second.
Hundreds of missions from land and sea, and delivered tens of thousands of pieces of ordnance. The effort continues to scale. This included American B-2 bombers, which again, similar to Midnight Hammer, flew a 37-hour round-trip sortie from the continental United States, dropping precision, penetrating munitions on Iranian underground facilities across the southern flank and slightly deeper. Additionally, Israel has separately executed hundreds of sorties against hundreds of targets. Beyond Air Force and Navy aircraft.
They're getting on here trying to convince us of why what they're doing is a good idea and why it's good. It's not. It's not a good idea. It's never been a good idea. I think it's stupid. I think we should. President Trump ran on no wars, no new wars, and then he comes in and he starts a new war. Yeah, not only one, two. Over there, he gets Maduro, pulls him out of there illegally. This shit is nuts, bro. And then they come here and they try to convince the public of why it's okay.
All these radars to Iran that they have.
The F-35 was supposed to be invisible.
And F-35 is like our main workhorse fighter jet. This is like the cornerstone of the of our air superiority.
We have way better shit now. This guy don't even know about.
Making it that way. Every angle, every coding, every design decision was built around one goal to never be seen. But
it's all about stealth.
YLC-8B does not care about any of that. This Chinese-built radar operates on UHF band low-frequency signals, a completely different physics domain than anything the F-35 was designed to defeat. It does not look for the aircraft's radar reflection. It resonates with the aircraft's physical structure, the wings, the fuselage, the tail, making stealth coatings completely irrelevant. Defense analysts confirm the system achieves reliable detection of stealth platforms at 350 kilometers. That is far.
And it's also important to note that the Chinese and the Russians, all of their military infrastructure is designed to combat U.S. Military superiority. So everything that the Chinese design and the Russians design is to combat American stealth it's superiority.
Farther than most F-35 pilots will ever see a threat coming. Donald Trump himself stated in a closed security briefing leaked to defense outlets that American air superiority.
Yo. Y'all hear me? I don't want no fuzz in there, dude. Can you hear me with no fuzz? Okay, there.
Here is what nobody is telling you, yet the radar is only the first half of what Iran just received. The $7.7 billion weapon deal. Most people assume China gave Iran this technology out of political solidarity. The reality.
So what happened was Iran went to China and got all of their military equipment from China, and their military power is pretty strong as well. So
accounts for almost 80% of China's oil, right? That comes through that strait. Very important for them strategically. So they have a vested interest in the conflict not continuing on. Also, if Iran falls, they know that it's going to become basically a Western puppet state. They don't want them getting closer in the hemisphere. Also, Iran is a BRICS-based nation that's been also dealing with heavy sanctions. China and Russia and Iran obviously are trying to de-dollarize the world. So there's many economic, military, and political reasons as to why the Chinese support the Iranians.
Of course.
But they did definitely step up with helping them with this stuff. And, it's interesting like how... in America and Western media, they're not reporting this, and they're also not talking about any of this when they're talking about combat situations, which obviously they don't want the American public to know this because this this is going to bring like approve ratings for the war down even more so. But this is like what we're dealing with. And as much as they're bombing the hell out of Tehran, they should have done way worse as I'm looking at the damage. So I do think that these raiders have played a role into it. Also, I've seen from other reporting that a lot of the fighter jets are flying a lot lower than usual, which when jets fly lower, they're not able to create the same level of damage. They have the same level of lethality against their enemies. But the reason why they have to fly low like that is to avoid radars.
Flying lower
It's to avoid the radars. It's to avoid advanced radars like this. Exactly. Yeah. So that limits their ability to really do a lot of damage. So he's saying that they have air superiority now, but I don't know if that's like what it really is. And I'm going to do more research on this, but I do think it's important that people know that the Iranians do have this technology. This technology does counter American stealth. And keep in mind, the Iranians are still fucking up the Gulf states and Israel right now as we speak. Okay, Israel has like a